welcome back to Navigating Neva, and I am your host, Neva Nicole. And tonight I've got with me my co-host,
Wesley King.
and today we're joined by Ron Usher, the founder and inventor of Otterball, a unique aquatic training and recreation tool that's making waves across the industry. But what makes Otterball special isn't the product, it's the purpose behind it. Welcome, Ron.
Hey, thanks for having me here. This is real exciting. Always a pleasure to see you guys.
And thanks for being here. And just for the audience to know, Ron drinks drinks that are on fire. Ron and I have met in person in Florida several times, and he's an awesome guy. And he has a drink, and then it starts on fire, and then he drinks it. And so that's the kind of guy we're dealing with. That's the legend of Ron Usher. So just want to glad to see you again, Ron. And he was at our event at All Things Aquatics too, as well. And just excited to connect further with you and let the audience get to know you a little more.
Yeah, that drink was the Firehouse Old Fashioned Wes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All I saw was flames and a cool guy going, "This is how it's done, young man." I was like, all right. So Firehouse Old Fashioned, there it is.
Yes, so we would like to start with your background and your why. So before we dive into Otterball, can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you found your way into aquatics, and what experiences shaped your view on play?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I started swimming and playing water polo when I was about 13 years old in middle school. And I swam all the way through high school, played water polo. And then as soon as I graduated, I started coaching and I fell in love with it. I had no idea that that would be the same thing I'd be doing for 50 years. So I coached swimming, I've coached water polo. Between them, I got my master's and I became an adapted physical education teacher, which was a great career. I expanded the things I learned and knew about. And I've been an aquatics director, a swim instructor, and I'm retired now, living in Cocoa Beach, and kind of needed to come up with something. And Otterball is what I came up with.
Well, and I think it's amazing too, Ron, getting to know you a little bit and knowing your personality, just your ability to combine all of your skill sets, right? The teacher, the educator, the competitor. And so when you thought of Otterball and you realized something was missing and trying to figure out what the gap was between water polo and all the things you've done, how did you kind of even come up with the idea behind Otterball?
Well, in Brevard County on the east coast of Florida, there is no water polo. And I was jonesing for some water
Oh.
polo. And the nearest water polo is in Orlando, which is an hour away. Not really practical to go out there and do it. So I took a WSI class. This was just last July.
Sure,
And
yeah.
the WSI class has basically not changed that much. It's improved, but it's the same WSI class I took when I was 18 years old. And while I was taking that class, I realized that there's this huge gap of kids that do not take swimming lessons for a couple reasons. One, the lessons are geared for 7 and 8 year olds and or 3 and 4 year olds, and then there's nothing for the teens. Now I saw those kids in the pool and they couldn't swim. They came to the pool to
Hmm.
recreate, but you could see it. They couldn't get into the water. They couldn't swim, or then when they did, they'd be wearing a life jacket, which I mean, who
And
wants to
when you
be?
say kids, just to be clear, Ron, for our audience, when you say kids, you don't mean actual kids. You mean students in the WSI course or teenage.
No,
No,
I meant
yep.
so the
Go ahead. Sorry,
WSI
sorry.
course
Please go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
the WSI course was taught at a county pool or city
There we
pool.
go. Sorry. Thank you.
And
Please.
so while I'm taking the WSI course, I
There
see
we
the
go.
clients at the pool
Thank you.
and they could not swim. And I one of the reasons is because the structure of the WSI program, it's expensive. An 18-year-old kid cannot spend $500 and 40 hours to get certified. And I knew that that was a problem. And I sort of combined that learning to swim issue with
Hmm.
water polo because because water polo is a neat way to get into it, and
Yeah.
playing a game like basketball, which was basically water polo. um, the, Everybody knows how to play it and it's fun. And so I just started tweaking with it and I came up with Otterball.
Well, and to your point, there's probably a lot of people listening here. Nicole and I always find people that are listening like, oh, you listen, that's so great. There's a lot of people here that probably couldn't tell you where their closest water polo program is. Or they could tell you that their entire town is water polo. Is it fair to say that is that a fair analogy that it's either
It's
centered or kind of dispersed in
it's
areas?
extremely fair. In the United States, you've got about 500 water polo teams in the entire country.
The whole five
500
teams.
teams, period.
Yeah,
Teams.
that's
That's
So,
nothing.
my question, did this decrease over years? Like, was it a bigger thing once and it's just gone down, or has it just never had a big impact or a big interest?
It's never had a big impact. It's been off and on. I mean, it was one of the first team sports in the Olympics. Uh,
wow. Okay,
okay, back in I don't know, 1870 or something, back in the dark
Yeah.
ages. Southern California has a huge amount of water polo.
sure.
In Southern California, water polo players are like the stars in the high school. There's quite a few in Northern California. Florida's got some, Texas has some, and it's off and on in other states. I don't want to leave
Fair.
any state out that has the program, but it's really, really small. And I think I sorry, water polo coaches, don't take this the wrong way, but
We hope
they
they're listening.
yeah, we hope they're listening. They don't understand marketing and they don't understand building programs. And I've always said that water polo coaches are living in the dark ages. They did not adapt. USA
Sure.
Swimming adapted. They grew their programs,
There
and
you go.
water polo did not. And the environment in aquatics is changing rapidly.
Sure.
And as aquatics people, everybody, Nicole and US, we have to be ready to adapt. And I think Otterball is a great way to do it.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about Otterball. For somebody who's never seen it before, they probably aren't one of those 500 teams you named. What is it and how does it work?
So it's the game itself is a modified water polo game. That's no big deal, right? Anybody can do that. So what I have done is I've created a system to teach swimming for kids who don't know how to swim. So my initial program is to teach kids who don't know how to swim. And I'm going to teach instructors how to teach these kids how to swim. Then after they can swim, they can start actually before they even can swim, they can start playing this game, whether it's in an inner tube or in a raft or holding on to a noodle, they can actually start playing. So as a coach on the deck, you don't need to know a lot about water polo. But you need three whistles. You need to know what one whistle does, two whistle does, and three whistles does. So I teach you that. I teach you how to teach the swimming and teach you a little bit about the game. And then we let the kids play and learn how to swim and learn how to move in the water and have a great time. And through that, they'll be learning how to swim. Now, that's Otterball 1,
Mhm.
and that's been my focus right now. At some point, I'm working on Otterball 2 and 3, which then becomes much more like water polo and more a competitive
Sure,
sport.
the levels. But I'm going to pause you because the people listening are going to say, my kid can't swim, so how are they going to swim and play? So can you, for the audience,
Great
explain what
question.
you mean?
Great question. Let's take an imaginary kid named John, and John can't swim, and John's 12 years old, but his friends can swim, and they're getting in the pool and they're throwing this ball around. So I'm going to put a life jacket on John, and I'm going to teach him how to move, how to do breaststroke kick, and John will be with his life jacket. He will be completely safe, and he will be able to participate with his friends and have a great time. Then, this is part of the genius of my instruction technique. We're going to use instead of go from the life jacket to something less flotation-ish. Maybe it's a aqua size belt.
I think you used a noodle in Florida, if I was right, Ron,
Well,
when you
then
used the
so then
beach
you
ball. I
go
think
to
you used
noodles, and
noodles.
so
Yeah.
the flotation assistance becomes less and less and less, and eventually they're going to be able to swim. I,
The
I'm
whole
a, I'm
time they're
a
playing with their friends, so they're never
and they're
not
playing
in
with
the
their
game. They're
friends.
always in the
Yeah.
game.
They're
Right.
always in the game, and that's really important. I'm an adapted PE teacher, which means everybody participates.
Yeah.
It
I think
doesn't
that
matter your
was
disability.
one of the great things about, again, I keep referencing all things aquatics, but the point is, you got a chance to display, and nobody had seen it in action before. And one of the things that I loved is you had an inflatable beach ball. You had aquatic professionals. You had hotel guests. You had people that didn't know what it was, and immediately everybody was able to uniformly participate, no matter how good of a swimmer they were, no matter if you're in the deep end or the shallow end. And again, I'm not overtly promoting the event. I'm overtly promoting what I witnessed, which is how all the things you talk about come together, because nobody's excluded based on their ability to swim 500 yards or their ability to get a brick at the bottom of the pool. You really built the curriculum on inclusive participation, based on just being involved and learning progressively.
I tried to do that, and thank you for that. That gets me right there in the heart. Thanks, Wes. I,
Well,
you
I'm
know,
not going to cry. I'll get you to cry. So
a
there.
swim instructor, a good swim instructor is going to understand how to use progressions and drills to teach kids how to swim. They're not going to understand water polo. They're not going to understand how to use a ball to play a game. So that needs to be part of the curriculum. A water polo coach, they're going to understand the game part
Right.
of it. They're
Right.
they're going to completely understand the game part of it, but they're not going to know how to teach kids to swim. When I was coaching water polo, I got a lot of kids who couldn't swim, and we had to cut them off the team or spend hours, weeks, months trying to teach them how to swim before they could play water polo.
Or
And
cut them off. I mean, this is what you just said. I'm sorry, but you broke my heart. The words "cut them off the team," right? If you're in a master's program, if you're on a swim team, everybody swims. We don't always compete, but you have to earn that spot. You have to do so many hours in the water and practice so much. This is different. This is, again, only because of what I witnessed and seeing you write the curriculum. It's really designed to take that 9, 12, 13 year old who may never have been in the water before, who may not know how to put their face in before, who may only play basketball or only play football, and go, hey, we can all do this together. And so that nobody has to be quote unquote cut from the team. Like, that's just, oh, that gives me the
they
heebie jeebies.
they will all be able to participate. They don't need to get their face in the water.
Yeah.
They don't need to know how to blow bubbles, which you know how to, that's, I mean, it's a great skill. You got to learn that skill. And we talk about it later on in the curriculum, but you can play the game with your friends, tossing the ball back and forth, even if you don't want to get your face wet.
Oh, that's
That's a
another
big,
thing I was going to bring up. So
yeah, please.
I know that water polo is played above water, but there's been a lot of things on TikTok where people are doing, underwater basket weaving or hockey or whatever it is. So for those people listening, our head is above water and we're not going underwater at all, but we still have to move across the pool, but we're keeping our eyes engaged on the ball that's floating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they, I mean, I don't want them just to play water polo and always be able to keep their head up. I want them to be able to get their face in the water and swim
sure.
freestyle
Right.
and do all sorts of things. When I teach a swimming lesson, I do have a section where you go underwater and you learn how to swim underwater. But Otterball does not really develop that very much. That would be something that if it was an important to a swim instructor, they could add that to the program. It's very adaptable. Wes mentioned at the All Things Aquatics, I used the beach ball because that was the
That's what, yeah.
appropriate thing to use in the small space we had. It's the thing is modified, very modifiable, and part of the curriculum is teaching instructors, giving them some ideas on how they can modify it.
Well, and you mentioned too, look at me attempting to say on the script, Nicole, going back to one of the reasons you invented it is the gap in swim lessons, right? Nicole teaches full-time swim lesson. My wife teaches swim lessons. But once you hit that age of 9, 12, my son is 12 and a half now. If you're not hanging out with your buddies or your gals and you're not doing something they're doing, you're definitely not going to go there. I mean, just assumptionally, generally, stereotypically, right? Don't judge me, but the idea that it doesn't exist. There's no national swim program for 11-year-olds with fear of water. There's
Uh,
no, right? And so this kind of helps bring that layer down, not only of fear, to Nicole's point of putting your face in, but also like, we can do this together and it's okay.
yeah, it's those 9 year olds that can't swim, or the 12 year olds that they're not strong swimmers and there's nothing for them. There's nothing to bring them to the pool. I call it an aquatic desert. And it's a desert
It's a
where
great.
there's kids between the ages of 9 to 18 that cannot swim. And if they had a fun game where they could come in and not be judged and participate with their buddies, uh, they're much more likely to learn how to swim, enjoy the pool, which could be making revenue for the aquatic directors,
Mm-hmm.
and which is really
Right.
important. And a lot of the people who drown in the States are adults. Well, those adults did not know how to swim when they were kids. They never
Mm-hmm.
learned.
Well,
And
You go ahead, Nicole. Yeah.
yeah,
so I wanted to point out, just I'll let the cat out of the bag. Ron came to my pool this summer and he saw me and he showed me Otterball. And when he came, we had all the kids at the pool were invited. So we had moms, we had a swim instructor, we had kids, we had a little girl that's 5 on the swim team, and then we had teenagers like 14, 15-year-olds, and then we had these kids from like 9, 10, 11, 12 that could not swim. And the point that I'm trying to make is we ended up playing a game with moms and a swim teacher and kids. So it was very inclusive. So if you're looking for programs at your facility, this is very easy to include the whole family. I mean, maybe not the babies and the preschoolers, but the
It's not
whole
parent-child.
family, right? Not parent child, but the 5-year-old, she was in there and we all played the game. And
It's
before
a
we played the
great
game, we
point.
learned some of the drills. So it was a very easy to set up and deliver to your aquatic facility. Even if you've got some people who played in college or a swim instructor, you can throw everybody in the same game. And that's what I liked.
I think that's another desert. I know that I think that's another what Ron called an aquatic desert, right? Everybody wants to do a family swim. Everybody wants to bring the community in, and then you turn a basketball hoop on or you turn music on, and believe me, I've done it for years. And whether it's Otterball, whether it's Squim, the point is this is something that is designed with the mindset of creating connection and activity. And another thing I'll add too is maybe you have a bunch of people that are really good swimmers and that got burned out from swim team, or maybe it's off season from swim team. So it can also get competitive too, Ron, right? So there's a balance there.
it could definitely get competitive. I mean, and it's a tough game. I mean, even Otterball with Nicole's kids, they got tired. Even the good swimmers got tired, and so hold on to a noodle, rest. I
Yeah,
mean, in real
yeah,
water polo, no way, no,
right, right.
yeah, yeah, you got to be tough. But Otterball, hold on to a noodle, have fun and rest. Tired, go to the wall.
Right. And if
It's
you're really quiet, Ron will sing you a song like he used to have with his mascot. Don't think I won't tell everybody to go on YouTube and listen to your stories. But again, going back to another aquatic desert, right? And I kind of got sidetracked, but we all struggle to find ways to get families in the pool. And when we do get them in the pool, we struggle to find ways to keep them in the pool and interactive, and God forbid, try to make a little dollar off of it and a structured engagement. So whether it's Otterball for 6 weeks in a row, or just having a random family swim event and putting it in there. I think what we're really trying to get at is how can you bring your community together with something that is progressive, creative, connective, and oh, by the way, might teach your kid how to swim. I mean, that's really what we're all searching for.
I really think it's about the drowning prevention. The game aspect of it and the
With
family
sarcasm, by the
aspect
way, just so you know, I was being sarcastic, but go ahead. Yeah.
the game aspect of it is super, super important and fun. But the real thing is we got to do drowning prevention. People have to learn how to swim, and I think this is a great way to
Yeah.
get into the aquatic desert that's not being met. And I mean, if you were aquatic director and you had a family fun night and introduced everybody to water polo, you could use. I have these really cheap inner tubes. They're not inner tubes, but they're like inner tubes, and people could sit in them and throw the ball back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they'd have a great time and would start helping adults learn how to swim if they can't, or just like you mentioned, family bonding, which
Right.
right.
Oh, our friend Phil from Splash Save always says his big line is, "You can't drown if your head's above water." Otterball is designed to bridge that gap, and a lot of the podcast guests we have too they're thinking differently. Nicole and Ron is too. We know nobody's going to sit underwater for 30 seconds at a time and bond. But we know if you hit the ball in the air formally and structurally with some progression, you're going to come back next week and do it again. And you're going to come back the week after that and do it again.
Well, what I like is I think all facilities or cities have like cop versus firefighter day. And when I was in high school, my favorite was lifeguard versus camp counselors, and we did tug of war at the annual picnic. So if you have facilities and you're trying to build that camaraderie, people are always competitive, and this gets you in the pool, and you don't have to be a strong swimmer or even a swimmer to participate in this game. And we all know a little bit of competition's fun.
Absolutely. And I will go off script here just for a minute. Ron, if you wouldn't mind, only because I know you're so passionate about it, I want the audience to know that you do a lot of blog writing too. You do a lot of essay writing and information writing. Would you be willing to share some of that as a background? Not that I want to divert from Otterball, but I think you have a lot of great content that you've shared and that you put out there. Would you mind? Again, I know it wasn't part of the plan, but I didn't want to dismiss that.
Thank you. So I have two websites. I have playotterball.com, and that is strictly about Otterball and how to do it, how to bring it up. I have a quick start guide, so you can download the free quick start guide. And I think with the quick start guide, you could pretty much get the program going by yourself and experiment with it. So that's playotterball.com. And I have a new site called ronusher.net, and that is to go after this aquatic desert, because like I just listening to you and Nicole talking about it's a matter of marketing, it's a matter of promotion, it's a matter of events. The firemen lifeguards. I mean, if you're going to have a fireman lifeguard day, you probably could get 5,000 people to come to your pool and watch those guys play whatever.
You can sell tickets to watch them do, that's
yes,
right.
Exactly.
And they're already using the pool. And again, think about anybody listening. You already have people that are members of your pool that work in fire departments, that work in the community. And again, all we're saying is do what you already do, but now do it with some pizzazz, do it with some purpose, do it with an umbrella that allows people to gather around it. Sorry, Ron, keep going.
Yeah, no, and that's ronusher.net. And I'm addressing the aquatic desert, and I'm just starting on writing blogs on that and putting them on Substack, and that's it.
They're good reads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So I'm going to ask a question that is on script, Wes. So I know a lot of your...
Look at Nicole, everybody, on script.
I know. It's amazing that I stay on here. So I think a lot of your background and education shines through when Wes mentioned what you do, but if people that know what you're doing can see that your education and your experience highlights it. I think it's when people don't have that experience, they just don't know how to do stuff. Like I hear people all the time say, how do you do this? Or how do you start stuff? So one, I think it's great that you have the website that we'll link on the podcast for everybody to find, because some people just need it handed to them or printed out easily in black and white. But what do you hope Otterball changes for the way people think about interacting with water?
Well, that's not a light question, Nicole.
It's not.
Yeah, blame Nicole.
See,
this is why we're getting ranked higher and higher in the podcast world, because of Nicole's podcast, because of these questions.
I would love to see Otterball changing the way that we're teaching older kids, 8, 9, 10, how to swim. And for 50 years, and trust me, I'm very good at putting your face in the water, blowing bubbles, rolling to the side, breathing. I am very good at teaching that. I am a master at coming up with progressions and drills to get beautiful freestyle strokes. I'm a competitive swim coach and I'm a swim instructor. I'm a master at that. After doing that for 50 years, I believe that the technique of Otterball, which is basically being on your back, learning how to do a breaststroke kick, and learning how to scull, is going to be the biggest life-saving skill for everybody. Because if I was on a cruise ship and I fell overboard, I'm not putting my face in the water and swimming freestyle to get to shore. I'm going to float on my back with my head up. I'm going to do egg beater. I'm going to learn how to do breaststroke. And Otterball is entirely in the deep water. I mean, at some point, right? When it's safe, you
When
go
you're
into the
ready.
deep
Yeah.
water. Yeah.
Yeah. I have goosebumps now, Ron. That's your fault because Nicole, if we go back and think about all the guests we've had and the swim instructors we've talked about too, everybody says the same thing. If you're drowning and struggling, you're not going to flip over and start doing freestyle and put your face in, right? And Ron executed the words perfectly, better than I could. But the point is, every audience, every guest we've had has said the same thing in different ways. And the whole point of the way you can put the body, the way you do the egg beater, the way you position the float, when you're drowning in the lake, when you're Jose doing forms, when I'm thinking of all the instructors we've had here, Nicole, and the professionals, this is the physical position you want your body to be in before you go into fight or flight, or when you're in fight or flight, so that you can then safely get yourself to wherever you need to be. And again, just the approach to how you've written it, but also your goals, to Nicole's heavy question, I think really align with drowning prevention and physical posture and teaching. Go ahead, Nicole.
Well, so I like what you said, only for the fact that I own a swim school and lots of the people we talk to do. Your clients drop out, and we were just talking about this on a swim instructor meeting. Your clients drop out once the kid, this is going to be really sad, once the kid can swim to me, or if I'm in a backyard pool, once the kid can swim across the backyard pool. That is not where you want your kid to be. I mean, that's not
the end of swimming.
Right, that's not the goal. And I know mom and dad are happy because their kid can get across their little backyard pool. But when I think of water safety, I always think of it from a parent standpoint, but taking my kids out on the water, like my background picture here. You know, if your kid
or
goes
Ron's.
Or Ron's, but
Sorry.
we're kayaking in mine. So Ron's is a different, I mean, out in the water, but different. If you're a parent and your kid wants to go with their friend kayaking, or they want to go to the beach, they want to go to a pool party, or they want to go boating, my level of safety has not been, can my kid get across the pool? But if they fall off a boat, can my kid make it ashore? If he gets caught in a rip current, does he know what to do? If he's in the pool and they're having a pool party and he's been stuck in the deep end, does he have enough stamina to last so that he doesn't become another statistic? And so many parents stop, and I think they stop because they're not going to battle their kids to come. There's no fun in doing an American
It's all
Red
competitive.
Cross. Well, there's no fun in just swimming laps back and forth unless you're a swimmer.
Right.
That's not exciting. So I like that Otterball, even if you are a swimmer, it's pushing them further. Because my joke is always, when's the last time you tried to tread water and wave your hands for help? You know, if you're caught in a current, and like, nobody can do that.
Right.
I know this because I'm testing all the lifeguards. They have to tread and do it without their hands. Nobody can do this. So if my lifeguard candidates can't do this, I'm assuming the everyday John or Jimmy can not do it either.
But
So,
your Otterball player would be able to, Nicole. They'd be able to do it well.
That's why we're an advocate for Otterball.
Right. and again, and I know we're preaching Otterball, but whether it's Kevin from Squim or Jose, all the guests we have, I think also have the same mission behind it, right, Nicole? And it's not just that it's Otterball, not just Ron Usher who drinks fire drinks, but also it's the idea that this was created in kind of you said it yourself, 50 years, right? And Nicole and I talked earlier with some groups, and the statistics aren't changing, people. More people drown today than they did yesterday, and people are going to drown tomorrow. And the chances of them drowning in the physical position that Ron is teaching them is pretty unlikely because you're learning how to build from that. The chances of them drowning face first or not knowing how to recover are pretty likely because we've never changed how we teach it. And we've never changed the way to get comfortable in a pool. And so, again, I think it's a lot, there's the philosophy you have behind it and your approach to it. It just speaks a lot about why we're advocates of it too.
Yeah, I realized that when I was in Santa Cruz a couple years ago, the Otterball concept hadn't hit me, but the water, it's 58 degrees. You're not putting your face in the water and rolling to the side to get a breath. I don't care. I mean, it's cold. My head comes up and I'm doing a heads up breaststroke and a side stroke. Even the Navy SEALs don't do face in the water freestyle. They do side stroke with their face out of the water.
Well played. So again, it's a full circle moment of the philosophy behind it, the teaching methodology, the drowning prevention, and creating the great program that everybody can participate in. It makes us big advocates for sure. And seeing it live. Nicole got to see it live. I got to see it live. Like you said, what was the running joke you had, Ron? Don't wear your sunglasses in the real Otterball, but it's
Yeah.
okay to do with a beach ball, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll shill a little bit about myself. If somebody wants to contact me and have them come out to their pool and run some programs, I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm in Cocoa Beach, and I got about a 4 or 5 hour driving radius that I can do that in.
and I will double down that we've met for drinks, we've met for program support, we've met at events. Ron is a big advocate of networking, and I think it was you that reached out to me on LinkedIn all those years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, I did.
yeah.
I started that, but I don't, Wes. I don't know. You're making it sound like I'm a big drinker. Those days are long gone.
More so, I'm impressed by the drink specifically, that I wanted the audience to know the man drinks fire. Maybe it's not in high volumes these days. Fair, I don't want to oversell you. It was just the impression of the dude drinks fire, and so, but fair enough. Good callback. But nonetheless, so again, we appreciate you being here, and we're just excited to tell your story and the world to get to know you, because it's been a pleasure to do that personally and professionally. And I think the more people get to know you, the more they'll be excited about what you're bringing to the table.
Thanks. I hope I can come back on soon and maybe discuss some other projects or something else too. I love you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
love
you're
you
so
guys.
awesome, man.
let's just recap what you said. The Otterball.com, playotterball.com, that is where they can get information on the game. And is that where you want them to contact you if you're willing to travel to them, or is that would they
That
go under
so
contact?
the, playotterball.com has all the contact information and that's where they can get a hold of me. And I'm also all over social media and everything else. The ronusher.net, I'm developing that to be my speaker platform,
Okay.
and that the speaking platform will be about the aquatic desert and how pools can provide it, and it's not just Otterball. I mean, it's about
Yeah.
everything. You guys mentioned a lot of great activities. I love the firemen and versus the cops.
We're doing it for softball like next
Yeah.
month. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
just always coming up with stuff
New
like
York
that.
has an entire league like that.
They
But
do.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
because everybody in the community wants to see those two play. But
yeah.
it doesn't have to be those two. But I keep reminding people when you've got to come up with programs, don't forget to include your community. I mean, years ago, everybody wanted to hang out around the pool and have a cookout and have a party. There's nothing stopping,
We had a
managers or aquatic coordinators from helping that network reunite or build over a game like this.
I had a
Yeah.
library be loud day where we invited everybody that was members of the library and other librarians to come to the pool, and they got to be loud, and they brought whistles and bell. I mean, it was kind of silly and fun, but it got all library readers and all library staff to come to the pool, whereas we used to go and do CPR events there, but we called it library be loud, and so they got to come in. But to the whole point is now they can play Otterball.
This would be a whole nother subject that I would just love to get into. They used to you could invite school A versus school B in a splash contest and have or just all the fifth graders in the district near the pool. It's so,
Yes.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It doesn't
Look
have
how
to be
excited he's
Audible.
getting. Oh, I love it.
I just because and a lot of it's marketing, and I just love marketing. Let's
Yeah.
we got it. We aquatics needs to step up as you guys
Heard.
are, as you guys
Heard.
are, and hopefully I
Absolutely.
am.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that everybody stayed listening, because if you did and watching, you got to see Ron get super excited, which I love because I've got to know him and I just love that about you, and I know you're passionate. So, again, thank you for your time, Ron. What else we got, Nicole?
That's it. I was just going to tell Ron, thanks for hopping on, and that I love how this just got started because he had one idea, and now it's something that connects fun and safety along with skill building that we all know is important. And it's a reminder that innovation can often begin with play.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your Wednesday night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Until
Ron.
next time, stay safe. We want zero drowning so you guys
Zero
can play
drownings.
Otterball to get there.
Bye, everybody.